Okay, in this Photoshop tutorial I'm going to show you how to create some really simple organic looking typography using some textures and stuff to kind of give it that organic feel. So straight away we're going to write the word organic. I've used a font that I've downloaded called Super Clarendon Black, but this tends to work with a nice fat font like this, a nice thick sort of heavy font. Font works better because we're going to take this kind of fat font and we're going to add sort of glyphs to it that are all kind of scrolly. I've just nicked these off the internet. Ideally you will create your own, especially if you're studying graphic design and you're looking to gain marks, because obviously creating your own work, first of all, it's not plagiarised, and then second, and you get to learn how to do stuff, and secondly it will probably cover units that you're being graded on, so it creates evidence for you. So this is just really brief. So we've got this kind of delicate, these sort of delicate scrolls and swooshes. So what I'm going to do is just move them around into position so that it looks sort of organic-y. And what we'll do is I'm trying to use the flow of the letters themselves, the actual letter glyphs, to sort of dictate where my scrolls go. So that's sitting on the bottom of there. It looks quite nice if we just spin that a torch like that. That's one. Let's see what else we've got. What's this one? Is that one? No, that's that one. That maybe go over onto there. So it looks like the O is sort of growing out. This one. Okay, should we put that? Put that on the C. So it's sort of growing out of the bottom of that letter. Well, you can be more precise, but this I basically want to show you a quick technique, and then we shall shove that so it comes off the A like that. That's nice. So let's just move all that. Let's just move all that across. So once we're happy with our design, obviously you're going to go through a design process and try different designs out and have a range of these, you know, at least 20 to 30 sort of different variations of this. Once you're pleased with it, press shift and select all of the layers that are active, and then Command and E will join them together. So now we've merged. So that's all on a see-through background. So on a transparent background. So what we're going to do now is open up some ink texture, something I created earlier. Let me just do that, and we're going to drag that onto our document. So we've got this ink texture. It's just basically ink with water, and you can kind of see how it's bled. I'm just going to change that to multiply for now because I want to be able to see how much of the lettering that it covers. So just move that out of the way. Free transform it, and just make sure that all of the lettering and the glyphs that you've added to it, and the swooshes and the swashes and the swishers, that make sure they're all covered. So that looks about there. Maybe just bring that in slightly to make that darker on that top bit there. So we've got kind of a variation of colour. We're going to just maybe take the brightness down on it a little bit because we want to make sure all the lettering is actually covered with ink. So we can OK that. So now we've got this layer here is our lettering, and this layer here is our ink. So if we go on to select the lettering layer, and over the icon here, if you can look, if I press the Command button, the CMD button, it changes the icon to it has like a little selection box. If we hold down the Command and click, that will select all of the pixels on that layer. So you can see we've made a selection. Just take the eye off so we can't see that anymore. Go on to layer 7, the layer above, the ink layer, and while that selection is active, press Command and J, and that will sort of cut and paste that layer. It's actually duplicating that selection. And then if we take off the background, we have got some little organic-y thing, and we can play around with the colours of it. So we can Command and U and change the colours. We can make them all kind of variations, or we can press colorize. Turn the saturation up a bit, maybe turn the lightness up a little bit, and we can play around with that. So we've got like a nice organic thing. Then if I get one of my old textures Open up that, drop that on there. Like that. So now we can play with the blending mode of this and stuff, so we can turn the brightness down a bit. Like that. We can play around with the colour again if we wanted to. See what works well with that. That looks lovely. Oh man, that looks nice. Commanding U, turn the lightness up a bit. Now you want to play around with the texture because obviously we've got some really dark areas and you can play with that. That looks nice. Play around with some other blending options. You can do overlays and so you could screen it like that so it looks like it's been printed on in white. What's Colourburn do? Colourburn looks alright, but it's gone a bit too pixelated and bitty. So I'll quite like a bit of a multiply on it. And there we go, some organic lettering. Play around with it. Obviously, this is taking me a couple of minutes. With you, if you could actually experiment, the whole point of this is about experimentation. Think about the different textures, as many different textures you could get, and combine them with. You've got that kind of really gritty texture combined with really beautiful scrolls and swashes. Those two things juxtapose each other really well and you create some contrast, and that's what makes it interesting. So you've got this delicateness against the match with this sort of harshness, which works really well. Have a go at it, and I'd love to see how you get on with yours. Bye!